Adam Booth here with Upshift Online. We're in Idaho riding this 2019 KTM 500Exc. This is an Upshift project bike put together with cool stuff from companies that support Upshift. Starting off with three brothers did the suspension on this. They kind of revalved it and then went stiffer on the fork springs. That helps the balance of the bike. The suspension was really good today. Out on the trails, we're riding some of the Idaho City qualifier trails, but then also finding some really cool single track that doesn't get hammered every year at the qualifier. And it was able to hold up through the hoops pretty well in third gear blitzing, but then also stay kind of plush and nice and planted through the single track. One thing that always affects suspension and how it works and the overall feel of your bike is the tire and then either the tube or the mousse in it, because that's a direct contact between you and the ground. So the tires on this are Shinko. The back is a 505 cheater, so that's a little softer compound, and up front is the 216 fatty. It's a little wider, it's a 90 by 100. The cool thing about what's inside these Shinkos is nitro mousse bib. So it gives a little more of a dead feel. It's a little more plush than a tube. It gives it the sensation of maybe having 11 PSI, 10 PSI without ever worrying about a flat. You don't have to bring tire levers, you don't have to bring tubes, and you don't have to bring air. Basically, you just smash into stuff all day and you don't even think about it. Like I mentioned before, the tires, your tube, mousse setup, all directly impacts how your suspension feels and how the bike feels. So when you have a little softer mousse in there that gives you the sensation of a softer air pressure, the bike feels more planted and it gives a little more cush feel, especially when you're hitting the rocks and the roots square edge, and it gives a little more dead feeling, which I like a lot. I don't like the tire to hit a square edge and jerk the bars or send me off the trail. And I'll put up with a little heavier sensation from the wheels to just be able to smash into stuff and not worry about it. So some of the other goodies on this 500Exc is the IMS tank. It's 3.2 gallons. With these things in fuel injection, that'll probably get you 100 to 120 miles depending on how you ride. We've got some ODI bolt-on grips. They're a little fatter for guys with bigger hands and a little more comfort. For me, I personally would like them shaved down a little, but I got used to them throughout the day. Fast flex handlebars. Really cool. They have the red dampers in them right now, which is a little stiffer, but you can fully adjust that. So between our redone suspension, our nitro mousse bibs, our tires that are a little more sticky, we have a lot of plushness in this bike. To go along with the flex handlebars is the Fast Company Flex handguards, which are designed to pivot on this design right here where it goes up and down, which means you're not going to get any binding and your handlebars still work properly. Moving across the handlebars here, we have the Trailtech Voyager Pro. It's in color. You got the buddy system if you want to link up to your friends to see where they are on the trail, see how slow they are. And then of course every bike that Upshift does that's going to go on the street and be street legal, double take mirrors. They don't vibrate, they're super strong, and they flip out of the way in an instant and you don't even know they're there until you hit the streets. So Seat Concepts is a big supporter of Upshift, which is awesome, and I've been using Seat Concept seats forever, as long as I've been dual sporting, because they're super comfortable right where they narrow up, where you need to be aggressive and sit, and then as soon as you want comfort, you slide back on the wider part and your butt cheeks are nice and comfy. All right, Three Brothers makes this whole tidy up your tail end kind of kit here, reduces all the stuff that hangs off, the blinkers that go off to the side, and just makes a real sleek design, tucked in. You're not gonna rip it off on trees or if you tip it over or slide out. Pretty sweet little setup. So Yosh has this RS4 slip-on sweet muffler here that we put on. It has a spark arrestor in it, so that gets you out of trouble with the Forest Service if you even need one. It's lighter, has a throatier sound, and you're definitely gonna have more aggressive feel to the bike with that, and then your friends are gonna hear you coming for sure too, if you're a throttle heavy guy. If you're just riding normal trails and cruising around, you know, trail speed, single track speed, it's not that aggressive, but as soon as you really start cranking on the throttle, it has a lot of bark to it. So the foot pegs are Fastaway Pro Moto billet. They have interchangeable little screw heads or teeth on them, and you can change the style of aggressiveness you want on the foot peg. We have these kind of gnarly spikes today, and they are sticky, which is cool when it's muddy and you get a little wet out there, or you're like leaning side to side on the trail and your feet don't want to slide off. But be very wary. These will cut you up if you're not careful. So Upshift Online created this pretty bitchin' kind of matte finish graphics kit for this whole bike, kind of completing the overall look of it. It's kind of bitchin' because it is a little matte finish. It doesn't scuff up and look destroyed right away. If you are into this kind of look, it'll be up online and you'll be able to buy it for your bike as well. So the stock gearing on this typically has a 45 on the rear. We ditched the stock chain and sprockets and went with a DDC rear sprocket and front sprocket, and we went up 2 teeth on the rear to 47. This kind of gave us a little more bark out of first, second, and third on the trails. With this setup and the 500 engine, most of today was third gear. The second's pretty barky, but third you can kind of just roll it on and cruise everywhere. The freeway that we were riding a little bit today, 55, 60, super comfortable at engine speeds. You start getting above that, you start revving out. It's not really a 70-mile-an-hour gear setup, but it's pretty ideal for a little bit of asphalt and then perfect on the trails. So coupled up with the DDC sprockets is we used an arcade chain, O-ring chain, less maintenance for off-road, mud, water, whatever. You off-road guys know that O-ring chains are the way to go. As you know, a lot of dual sport bikes come with headlights that resemble holding a candle out in front of you as you ride down the street at night. We swapped it out for a Cyclops LED bulb. It's super bright. It actually has high and low features on it, and it's pretty intense. It's not a bad setup for just a quick swap out without having to change your entire setup. So the plastic on this bike is Cherubies. It looks good, it's smooth, it fits well with the IMS tank, and of course it looks good with the Upshift Online graphics. So we've put a lot of protective features on here, handguards, skid plates, some side plastic over the swing arm. But what we have on the radiators is made by Bulletproof. They're aluminum anodized radiator guards that not only protect sticks and stuff from coming into the radiator, but they offer support to the sides, much more than stock. So if you fall on the trail or you crash or whatever happens, you're just gonna keep it from kind of wanting to crush in. And it offers a lot of protection from forward sticking objects as well. So we put a lot of cool stuff on here. We've mentioned all the little doodads and the add-ons and all the things that go towards making a better bike. I know the 2020s are coming out soon, but this is 2019, and honestly, this bike is insane. With all this stuff, just a little bit of suspension adjustment, some exhaust, obviously the flex bars, the nitro inserts, the softer tires. You start combining all these little things and you can turn a bike into a ripping machine. This thing felt like a motocrosser one. I wanted to feel like a motocrosser, and then it was mellow for the single track, or if I was just tired and wanted to cruise. And as soon as I wanted to, wick it up a bit and start cranking the throttle, the bike responded with aggressive motor and then aggressive suspension. That's all I can ask for, and then I can be done with the trails, skip the truck, and ride down the asphalt and go get lunch or ride from my house. And it wasn't 10 years ago that having a bike that could be aggressive and smooth and ride down the asphalt comfortably was not happening. So it boggles my mind every morning when I get up and sometimes put on my gear and I ride out of my garage, or I show up somewhere and we leave out of a friend's garage and go find new trails, and it doesn't even seem like it should be legal to be riding these bikes on the street, but it is, so take advantage and enjoy it.